Look in my eyes. What do you see? It's the AR Wrestling Podcast with Ryan and Alex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another banger of an episode of the AR Wrestling Podcast. And this week, we basically go over Survivor Series build-up. So, as usually know, we always say, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And this week, we actually do have some news. Um, so the first thing I want to hit is Raw Netflix premiere. We all know it takes place in LA's new Intuit Dome on January 6th, 2025. Travis Scott will be there, and the superstars that are advertised for right now that I saw were Roman Reigns, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Bianca Belair. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think Roman's going to be there because I've been seeing stuff to where they're going to keep the Bloodline story and everything on SmackDown and keep everything on Raw the way it is. But I don't know because I know they want to draw. I know Netflix wants to draw numbers, but I don't know if you saw what Triple H said about the Netflix thing. You remember how with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, there was a bunch of stuff going on because people were upset that it was buffering.
Yeah.
Well, Triple H goes, if our first night buffers and they come and say it was like 60 to 70 million households watching, I'll be good with the buffering. He's not going to
Oh
be
yeah.
upset. Now,
Oh yeah.
obviously, a
I
lot of
wouldn't
us will be
either.
a lot of like in his standpoint, yeah. Like a lot
I
of
mean,
us
yeah. From that standpoint,
as
the fact that like wrestling is more popular than ever.
which I'm happy it is, honestly. So that's what I got for that. But another news, Becky Lynch confirms that she is returning. And she said, if you think I'm going to go out with Dominic Mysterio slamming a door into my face, that's not going to happen. Which I kind of like this because then when Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins were at the Moana 2 world premiere with Rue, their daughter, Liv Morgan commented on Becky Lynch's Instagram post saying, I'm so glad you're enjoying retirement. Rue looks beautiful. I was like, oh no, she brought Rue into this. This is Raps.
Damn. She mentioned Rue. Becky's gonna come kill this bitch.
What I could see, honestly, is a mixed tag match like they did with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, but instead doing it with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan because nobody likes Dom. Nobody likes Liv. Why not just put that pairing in there?
Yeah, you're not wrong there. That'd be pretty fucking funny.
So, and probably the most interesting news all week, in my opinion, Vince McMahon and Linda McMahon have divorced after 50 years. I'm assuming it's part of the allegations against Vince, but I also think it has to do with Linda McMahon being appointed Secretary of the Department of Education and Donald Trump's cabinet. So that's where I'm sitting with it. I don't know what you think. I don't know if you even knew about that until I said something, but that's where I'm sitting at.
I didn't know about it. I'm pretty sure I might be remembering wrong, but in the Vince McMahon Netflix documentary, he said something along the lines of when he was referring to Linda, he said, my wife at the time. So that kind of got a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, speculating on whether or not they were divorced or going through a split up at the time or something like that. But
Right. Um,
I'm not surprised by it, actually. I do think it's part of the allegations. I think it's part of all the baggage that Vince has now attached to him, and with Linda becoming part of Trump's
cabinet.
secretary of, yeah, becoming part of his cabinet, especially part of the Department of Education, like with like children and shit, you're gonna want to keep the most clean slate possible. So I do think it's kind of a combination of all the factors that you've just talked about.
For sure. I think it's that as well. But I mean, I also want to like, I didn't even catch that honestly. But I'm like, when you say my wife at the time, when he says my wife at the time, now I'm kind of thinking this part, it was part of this part of like, did this also kind of stem from the angle of when, do you remember when Linda McMahon was like, she was so called a vegetable and Vince was not, well, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to say that in a demeaning way. Like,
No,
she
yeah, I know
was,
exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's one of
it
the.
was that whole
I
angle
love
with
that
Trish
wrestling
Stratus.
story. I love
Yeah,
that wrestling. I love
so
that shit.
that's why I think it could be that. But I mean, I think a lot of it is. I mean, Vince has so much baggage over the years. Like, I'm surprised Linda didn't leave his ass sooner.
Yeah, me too. Like they've been like this has been like they went got together when they were in their like 18 or when they were just about
Yeah, they.
20. It's like 60 plus years they've been together. It's pretty insane.
So I mean, we'll see. But that's all I have for news, Ryan. There's a piece of news that I want you to cover that I had put in because I want to know what your opinion on because you do watch this significantly more than I do.
All right, it's a little bit of AEW news. It is AEW former world champion and 2024's PWI Women Wrestler of the Year. It is Toni Storm, and she's announced that she's retiring from AEW and pro wrestling as an entire just she's
entirely.
done. She's good. She's done. She's over.
I
This
will
comes
say
off the
this is
back
from.
of. God,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna dive into a bunch of stuff. I want to hear what you
I
have to
was just
say
gonna
though.
give the credit. I was just gonna give the credit to where it was due. I found this information from SB Nation on Instagram, and Wrestling News Co had posted the post, but they gave the credit to SB Nation.
Hmm.
So I assume that SB Nation is a very credible source. I've never heard of this
I've never heard of him either.
out of all, but I definitely could buy it. Oh no, this is a very credible website. It's a bunch of
Mhm.
sports stories of today.
Facts, but this does come off the back. She lost her women's AEW World Championship back in August. She lost when she went to Mexico and competed in CMLL. She got her ass whooped. Then she went to Japan and she lost there. So she's lost basically everywhere in pro wrestling this year. And so I think this is kind of her just saying, like, her entire gimmick is like a Hollywood actress from the 1970s, 80s, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And now she's just playing the over dramatic, like, oh, this is the kibosh on my career, and she's gonna sail off into the sunset now. And then there is a championship celebration this Saturday at AEW Full Gear for the AEW Women's Champion
Mariah May.
Mariah May. I almost said Mariah Carey. That is
All I
definitely
want
not
for
true.
Christmas is you.
That's definitely not true. But yeah, I think she might actually return into AEW this weekend during that
So
championship celebration.
you think this is basically a work, is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I could buy that 100%. I mean, I definitely don't watch AEW as much as you do. I just kind of watch some highlights that I find here and there. But I mean, I'll take your word for it because again, you are the guy who watches it. I'm probably
Mm-hmm.
gonna end up start watching Ring of Honor and or TNA more because I'm starting to like I found some like a highlights video from like their past like this past year, last year, like all like the returns and everything, and it looks pretty interesting. So I might have to get into
Yeah.
it.
There's a lot of cool shit going under the radar right now, just because everyone's so focused on WWE and somewhat AEW. AEW is a number two, obviously, but everyone's really more focused on WWE right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think what um I think what WWE should do, because you remember how ECW had that one night stand.
Mm-hmm.
I think WWE should bring back the ECW one night stand, but call it something else and make it a PLE once a year. And it's like a PLE. It's like it replaces Extreme Rules. Make ECW one night stand Extreme Rules ECW one night stand. I mean, we haven't had Extreme Rules in probably a couple of years, but I mean, if you want to bring back a PLE like that, you can definitely do it that way and let Paul Heyman completely book the entire card every year.
Let's go, Paul. Yes, I love that.
So
Give
I don't
Paul
know.
Heyman complete creative control for one night only a year.
I mean, he had it when ECW one night stand was a thing.
Exactly. Why not again?
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, that's what I'm at with a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
are we ready to hop
that's
into
it all
this?
for the news that I got. But yeah, I'm ready for you to hop into Raw.
All right, let's get into it. So, as usual, we see Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Sheamus all getting ready for their matches. Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed have their match, and Braun Breaker and Sheamus have their match for the Intercontinental Championship. And we see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez coming in. And we get a replay of last week's main event where Nia, Tiffy, and Naomi are getting involved. And basically, it was the replay of Nia versus Naomi and Liv and Raquel taking out the ESTs of the WWE. But speaking of that, there's something interesting that has happened on SmackDown that we'll go over. But to open up Raw, Liv goes, "Welcome to Monday Night Morgan." She's gonna get straight to the point. She knows the ESTs of WWE are there, but Liv didn't come alone. And then we get Nia Jax with Tiffy Time and Candice. Liv basically gasses him up as they all get in the ring, and Nia goes, "Let's get a few things straight. I don't. She doesn't like Raquel, but she doesn't dislike her. The champ doesn't think about Raquel." And she looks at Liv and she goes, "Well, we've had our business." And then she's like, "Well, I don't like you, but I don't dislike you." And then she goes, "I don't even think about you." But she goes, "I think about Naomi, Bianca, and Jade." And Bianca, Jade, and Naomi come out. Bianca goes, "Nia, if there's something you want to do about it, do it." And we didn't come alone either. And Liv's like, "Wow, you guys brought Io. That's really cool." Liv basically counts each team. She goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And One, two, three, four. You guys are stupid and we're smart. And they all get in the ring, and she asks, "Who wants to throw the first punch?" And Rhea Bloody Ripley, comes
Rhea
out,
Bloody
has a
Ripley.
mic in hand, and goes, "War Games!" Headbutts the shit out of Liv. War just breaks out in the ring, and Rhea basically only focuses on Liv, and then Io, like, just these are a couple things I've picked up. Io does an over the moonsault on Candice, Raquel, Nia, and Tiffy to all wipe them out, and they all stand tall in the ring, which I loved. I loved that.
Yeah, this was insane, dude. Rhea
Um,
Ripley looks like a fucking badass walking out there. War Games! And just
War
headbutts the
Games.
shit out of Liv Morgan.
Dude, I had texted you literally the Tuesday prior. I was like, I already know what happens next week, and I can't tell you because you're gonna get really excited. And I, as soon as this happened, I was like, oh shit, I forgot.
Yeah, dude, this was pretty fucking dope. I was
Um,
pretty excited for this.
but after this, we get a promo video of the OG Bloodline and the Timu Bloodline brawling, basically, which leads us into Braun Breaker getting warmed up for his match, which made me think that we were getting Braun Breaker as the fifth man. Honestly, it really did. But I mean, obviously, the SmackDown prior didn't show anything, so it kind of kept me in the thought of, oh, Braun Breaker said, you know what, I'll think about it.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
But after this, we get a mixed tag match. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Chad Gable and Ivy Nile. Basically, just some highlights. The Creed brothers come in. Or this is after the match. Um, I didn't really get much from this match. I don't really. I think this was more just a grudge match. In all honesty, um,
Oh yeah, this was pretty neat seeing a mixed tag match on Raw.
yeah,
Ivy
we
Nile
haven't
looked
seen
like
one
a
in a
fucking
while.
badass, like always. I feel like Ivy Nile is one person that should be like the U.S. title. I feel like should be having some Raw women
Hmm.
competing for it if there's going to be no IC title introduced. And Ivy Nile would be on like the top of my list for like that tournament.
I'm starting to think more and more, like as the weeks go on, I'm starting to think that they might either get rid of the women's tag titles because there's so many titles already on the card alone. Like if you really break it down, like there is now four world titles, three mid card, and three sets of tag titles. So we have 10 sets of titles. We
Hmm.
have 10 titles on that. Just adding another one, that would just be too much, in my opinion. But I mean, who knows? They could really do something and make it to where they're pushing the women just as much as they push the men, which I would like because I mean, we need the Evolution pay per view back, PLE, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. We need that
Hmm.
back. Like I don't think I watched it, but I saw highlights from it. I liked it. I don't know about you if you saw it, but I definitely fucked with it a lot.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to see the PLE live when it was happening, but I did get to see highlights like you have. I totally agree with you on the standpoint of there's too many titles in WWE right now. There's too many
Hmm.
titles in pro wrestling in general.
Yeah, there's a
AEW
lot.
has like a million sets of titles as well because they're also tied into Ring of Honor and Ring of Honor shows up on AEW. So those belts are also like their amount is insane. Like it's everywhere. Every single company has too many belts. And so it brings on the question of like, well, if you can't book good stories, why you have you're basically only relying on the titles to make stories important instead of
Yeah,
making like good stories themselves.
which in all honesty, I like what Triple H is doing because he's not making this Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes storyline about the title. He's making it about grudge. He's making it about Kevin Owens fighting the bloodline for 4 years, and then Cody just turns his back on it like it was nothing.
Right. That is one that I do genuinely like. Yeah. Fair point. That
So
is a counter argument, but like in general, like I don't think that the solution to like our roster feels like they deserve more, so we're going to give them a new title. I feel like just give them like book just like better like stories, I guess. Like I don't know like what the full solution of it is, obviously, because I'm not like a wrestling like genius or whatever. But like it doesn't feel like adding more belts is the solution to bringing prestige to your roster.
no, I agree to that, and I think it's more or less. I think we're gonna start pushing out certain things, but I mean, it also does help the fact we do have SmackDown and Raw both going back or both going to 3 hours when it comes to the new year, which I'm gonna be really interested in, especially for Friday nights.
Oh yeah, I'll be very interested in that. First,
because
like,
I don't think we've ever had a SmackDown that was 3 hours.
nope, I don't think it's ever happened. Like Raw
And
was
SmackDown
originally
started
two
in the
hours.
90s.
hmm
Yeah. So
So like we've,
I'm really excited. Yeah.
me too. It'll be very
Triple H is
interesting to
better on
see
it.
where we go from here.
So, but I mean, after the match, the Creed brothers come in and Gable pushes them away. He's upset because they haven't been there because I think it was Brutus who was getting married. Um, and Gable slaps Julius twice, and then Julius and Brutus push each other. Basically, like they're essentially locking in. And the Gable and the Creeds are basically celebrating being ruthless after Gable loses, which is kind of ironic. But that's
That's kind
just
of
me, in
weird.
my opinion. Yeah,
This
for
is this
sure.
is very this is very awkward. I felt very very strange watching this happen.
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about it.
I did not like it.
So, but after this, we get the Judgment Day in their locker room, and Finn's kind of just standing there. He's thinking, and I think he's trying to calm Liv down. Yeah, he's trying to calm Liv down here because she's all upset at what just happened out in the ring, and I would be upset too if Rhea just came out and tried to beating my ass.
Especially with a
So,
broken face,
um,
bro. Like she used
yes,
her broken face to whoop your ass. How does that feel? The face that you broke.
and it was yeah, really. And then when Finn dropped this line, this proved everything to me. Since now that we have Damien and Rhea gone out of Judgment Day, Finn goes, I want to take the wheel. Let me take the wheel. That means there's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, I don't obviously I would really hope everyone remembers. In Rhea and Damien's Judgment Day, there was no leader. Everyone was family. Everyone was equal. This just proves that Liv just took over and became the leader.
Right.
So, but
And now
Finn gives
Finn wants that power.
yeah. I think it's getting all to his head because there's a lot of dude. I've been thinking about so much this week that like I had like three storylines for the World Heavyweight Championship in my head, and I forgot all of them. Like it was so upsetting that I just like I was thinking about that as you were talking about what were we just talking about
Oh my god, dude,
uh
I'm dead.
the mixed tag match. Yeah, I completely forgot everything. So I think I'll remember it though. But Finn gives props for Dom or to Dom for beating up Damien. But Finn says Dom and Carlito are going to show the War Raiders what the hell or what the Judgment Day. Sorry, I'm in the middle of almost trying to burp or something. I don't know. But Finn says Dom is going to figure this out, and JD wants to talk JD wants to talk to Finn. So JD and Finn leave. I'm pretty sure maybe to focus on whatever it is. But I'm kind of curious to see what if Finn leaves, JD follows, but I don't know if he tags with Finn still. I don't know where we go with that just yet.
I kind of like the idea of it being a sort of Gunther and Kaiser sort of relationship where Finn is sort of like the mentor, but they're also like partners.
Oh, you said Gunther and Kaiser. I remember one of the storylines. So I was thinking about it because So do you remember how Gunther was saying we need to be better?
Yeah.
So what if at I believe Survivor Series is the World Heavyweight Championship match, Damien wins by Kaiser turning on Gunther, the exact way Finn turned, or not want to say the exact way, but pretty similar to the way Finn turned on Damien at SummerSlam. What do you think?
Wow.
Because what you could build up is you don't have to build up the title. You could just build up the storyline. And Kaiser's like, "Oh, you want me to be better? You want me to be better? Okay, I'm gonna get out of your shadow." And basically, he goes on, turns on Gunther. They have a match at um, Saturday Night's Main Event. That doesn't do it. So they go on and have a match at Royal Rumble. Or no, sorry, I lied. So what happens is they have a match at Saturday Night's Main Event, and then they both enter the Royal Rumble. They both get thrown, or Kaiser ends up throwing Gunther out, but Kaiser ends up getting thrown out like immediately after. And then Gunther enters Elimination Chamber. I would say Kaiser enters Elimination Chamber as well. Gunther beats Kaiser by pinning him as the final guy in the chamber. And then that would push Damien versus Gunther at WrestleMania. Because for me, this entire time, Damien has the title. Whatever PLE he's at, he's defending, he's winning, whatever it is. What if we get? Gunther versus Damian Part 2 at WrestleMania, but again,
That'd be
Kaiser
part
enters himself
three.
into the picture. Part 3?
Yeah,
Part 3,
yeah.
my
I get
apologies.
what you mean. I get what
Apologies.
you mean. Sorry.
But Kaiser enters himself into the picture and tries to cost Gunther. But Finn also does. This is just me adding shit. Finn also does this, and basically they're both ringside, and they. I don't know what happens. You have Finn there or not, but basically Gunther loses, Damian retains, and then we move into Finn versus Damian like immediately after.
Mmm,
And then
it's cooked.
and I say at some point in this storyline, Kaiser wins the IC title, and then
Yeah, I like that.
he starts self proclaiming he's the greatest IC champion of all time, and then that's
Mm,
how him and Gunther fight it out.
there
Or
you go. There you go.
here's the second storyline. This also involves Finn, Damian, Gunther, and Kaiser. Again, we're gonna build off the Kaiser winning the IC title. Kaiser defends it at WrestleMania against Gunther, and then during WrestleMania season, he's self-proclaiming as the greatest IC title or IC champion ever. But as he walks into WrestleMania, he loses to Gunther. Gunther gets number 2, and he goes on his next tear with that title. And during this entire time, we get Finn and Damian build up to WrestleMania, and even Gunther and Kaiser don't even have to be in the chamber. Finn can even be in it. He can win the chamber, and that's how he gets to Damien. That's how he gets his free ticket to Damien. Almost, I won't say free ticket, but like it's an opportunity to get to Damien without having to storyline. Because if you go through WrestleMania season, you have to basically. We all know the first two PLEs of WrestleMania season being Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber. They're typically um, meant for the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship, which we all know, it's been pretty common over the years. Royal Rumble is WWE Champion, Elimination Chamber is World Heavyweight Champion. We all know this.
I mean, that's not like every year, but like recently, yes, because it's been
That's
Cody
yeah.
Rhodes and Roman Reigns focused.
Cody Rhodes, Cody
Cody
Rhodes. But
Rhodes.
those are the two storylines I had in my head. Those were like four, but like they're mashed together.
Hmm.
So I liked the second one more because that's when I had went back and thought about it all when I was driving up to Massachusetts. Because I was like, that doesn't sound right in my head. So I went back and rethought it all, and the second one stuck more to me than the first one ever did. What do you
Mm.
think?
I do like, man, I like the idea of pushing Damian and Gunther as like this whole a round three at WrestleMania is basically. I like the idea of that, but
Hmm.
like Gunther losing the title this early.
Hear me out, and it's all because of the fact that Gunther keeps looking. Gunther basically is cutting off Kaiser. He's telling Kaiser he needs to do better, and that Gunther obviously needs to do better. But he makes it clear. He goes, I need to do better. He looks at Kaiser. He goes, we need to do better. Like he's looking
Hmm.
at Kaiser like, dude, no, we need to be doing this.
Hmm.
So, which
So,
builds. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, sorry. I've already got like when we get to the Gunther segment of Raw, I will have some things to say. I'm not
I
the
fuck with
biggest
it.
fan of Gunther's title reign right now.
Me
And
neither.
so the way that you're pitching him to lose, I'm not totally against it. Like, yeah, I know I just said like, oh no, Gunther losing, but I'm not totally against the idea of Gunther losing the title right now,
You're
honestly.
thinking logically and as the fan. It's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like my brain and my heart can't agree right now.
That's how I am with a lot of this stuff. But like again, I go with so unfortunately the logic behind it. Like right now, I'm not the biggest fan of Jey Uso being a part of War Games. I'm not the biggest
Really?
fan of his IC title reign. Really,
Yeah, the IC
I wish
title
he
reign
would
I
have had
wish
it
was a little
longer.
more.
But that's just again, that's just me.
Hmm.
So, but I think what
Hmm.
you and I are you and I are more probably interested in on Raw right now is the Final Testament, The Miz, and the Wyatt Six.
Honestly, yeah. Let's
And so
go.
we basically, I think it's a backstage video, whatever it is. It's Miz though. He goes, it's been an emotional couple of weeks, and we see a replay of him being captured, and Bo talking to him, basically, tormenting him and saying, "Oh yeah, we're friends, whatever." But he goes, now looking back, and we get to see the replay of the Final Testament, the Wyatt Six or whatever. Miz hopes that the Academy saw that a performance because he says that deserves an Oscar. And we see Cross come in the picture, and he goes, I've done what I've always done. I show the world the truth. The Wyatts are indeed not invincible. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yeah, no shit, dipshit. We literally saw this with Alpha Academy, but it was in a more of a condensed form. But because it was mainly just Bo Dallas being attacked. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I get you.
So the Wyatts indeed are not inevitable. No shit, dipshit. I think we know this.
Which is what
But
makes it
Miz
kind
jumps
of
in.
like cool.
The jumpstart. Miz comes in. He goes, the jumpstart Marine 7 needed, and he starts
Oh
planning out
God.
Marine. He starts planning out Marine 7. I'm like, brother, shut up. But to close this out, Cross says that he's in control of this game against the Wyatt Six. What do you think? What are we thinking?
Dude,
I
I
think we make this a
am.
Survivor Series. Make it the make it
Yeah,
the fifth one.
fuck it. Yeah, fuck it.
We only have
Do
3
an 8-man
matches,
elimination tag.
so make it Survivor
Or
Series. Make it a
that's
normal
fine.
Survivor Series match, but have it. You have the conditions under the fact that the women are also involved as the fifth members.
That makes it the fifth. That makes it the 5-on-5 traditional elimination
That's
tag.
exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, bam!
You feel me,
Holy shit! I
sir? Do
love
you feel
that.
me? Do you feel me, sir?
I feel you, sir. Yeet.
Yeet.
But I
Cody
love
Cody
everything
had
Karen
came out
Cross
with
is
a
doing.
story about that. I forgot what he said, but he had came out like he got asked about that in an interview. I think it was with Chris Van Fleet. He got asked
Hmm.
about that. He goes, yeah, we didn't even know we were supposed to go out." And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, bro, you just won the titles though. You're typically supposed to go on a press conference after you win titles.
Yeah,
I don't know.
right.
That was my thought. That's just me.
Like
But
Cody, what?
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make no sense. But
Don't make no
we
sense.
see a replay of Damian and Gunther having their promo last week. Kaiser coming out, Kaiser being shut up by Gunther, Priest clocking Kaiser, and Gunther retreating. I'm just saying, I like this idea that Gunther. I mean, unfortunately, they pulled the trigger too early for this idea to happen at WrestleMania for the main roster because of the fact they could use Damian as Gunther's kryptonite, but Sammy's already Gunther's kryptonite, essentially.
Hmm.
Which
I
I
mean,
think they pulled it on the right. I think they pulled it on the right guy,
they did.
but
The idea of
I
Gunther
also
having a
don't like the idea
kryptonite
of it.
too is like he's only got a kryptonite on a certain night. It's like he's
Right.
shown it that he's beaten Damien, whether he's had
Well, we were
help
the,
from
look.
Finn or
I don't say.
not,
I don't say we
whether
were
he's had
there
help
for
from
it. Don't.
Finn or not.
We were there for it.
Yeah, and then he's beaten Sammy,
Right.
and so, and I'm pretty sure he's also beaten Ilya, which would honestly say is really Gunther's kryptonite.
Yeah, because who's only gone through lost to? He's lost to Cody,
Cody, Braun
Sammy,
Breaker,
Braun
Ilya,
Breaker, and Ilya. So he's lost to 4 people.
and yeah,
But
and
how many
Sammy.
people has he faced and beat? So I mean, his win loss record definitely shows it. He is the ring general because he is. Like we saw
Hmm.
John Cena, we saw Ric Flair. They won 16 titles each over their 20-25 year. Well, Ric Flair like 57-year career. Fuck.
Holy shit, bro! Oh
Um,
my god, that dude never retired. I think he's still
I
thinking about coming back.
yeah, he's so stupid about that. I saw a joke after the Tyson Paul fight. Logan Paul challenges 70. There's like 75-year-old Ric Flair to a boxing match.
God damn it.
I was
Jake
like,
Paul
no.
versus Ric Flair 2025. Pull it off, Netflix.
I was like, nah, dude. Damn.
Nah, Jake Paul versus Hulk Hogan. That's the one the world wants to see.
Bro, you know what I just thought about? There's a chance we lose Ric Flair soon. That's like sad to think because he was born February 25th, 1949. And with him having 5 heart attacks in his last match, it's inevitable that it comes
God,
very soon.
bro. That's just an insane thing to even say.
You should
Yeah,
not have 5 heart attacks in a fucking wrestling match either.
no one
That's
should have
crazy.
5 heart attacks in their life. That dude had
That's
5 heart
fact.
attacks in one wrestling match.
That's fact. So I don't know. I think I like
I
the
don't know
idea
how
of
the fuck that's possible.
because do we know what Gunther's win loss record is? Is it? It's like insane. Um. Okay, that's definitely cap. I see this on somewhere on here. It said 1 win and 1 loss. That is definitely very wrong.
Definitely, yeah. That might be for like the year
Um.
or like a
Basically,
certain year, maybe. I have no idea.
basically a shit ton is what I'm looking at right now. His win percentage. Well, he's got 576 wins on paper, and he's got 261. So, dude, what was that second number I just said?
Um,
261.
260. Yeah,
So he's winning. If you divide his win loss record, he's on average it's 2.17. So I don't know what the hell that means in wrestling terms, but that's pretty damn good in my opinion.
yeah.
He's winning a shit ton.
Yeah,
So,
it's like it goes back to that question. Like, I think I asked you this a long time ago. It was when Roman. It was before Roman lost the title, but
well,
it's
I do
how.
want to point out that's over his entire career, not just in WWE.
Yeah.
I so I want to make that very
Okay.
clear before
Over
we
his entire
immediately talk
career,
about
like
it.
indie scene when he was Walter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I honestly I wouldn't be mad, and I wouldn't be mad to see a Walter return.
Dude, that'd be pretty
WWE
good.
his win loss
Walter, I
is
would say.
155 and 75,
I would say
which
like
I would
Walter
assume
and
a lot of that
Gunther are
right
two
next
different
to.
characters, though. Walter and Gunther are two different characters. Walter's like
That's true.
the way bigger. Like I don't know if you ever seen like footage of Walter wrestling on the indie scene, but that dude was like when Gunther was Walter on the indie scene, he was fucking huge. Like he was stocky as shit. He looked like a wrestler straight out of the fucking 80s or something like that. He was a
Yeah,
badass. But then now he's slimmed out now. He's like quicker. He's like more adapted to like the WWE like main event style, I feel like. And now he's Gunther.
yeah. Okay, so they're also and when in his win loss record, they're also counting um the live shows, the house shows they do. So they're also counting those. So that's why his
God
win loss
damn,
record
bro.
is
Who the
so
fuck is
his
keeping track of those?
his loss record is so high. That's why, and that's not even just in 20. That's obviously over his entire WWE career. But I'm just looking at just stuff in 2024 right now. So,
People are insane to keep up with all that shit.
this is the Internet Wrestling Database, Pro Fight, DB.com. So that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
But this
Pretty
dude, like
insane if they
again,
can
like
keep
we
up with all
say,
that.
Gunther is insane. And speaking of Gunther, his little mouthpiece Kaiser is backstage, and he's basically asking Gunther like why he did it. And Gunther goes, Kaiser, you don't speak for me. I want you to make a name for yourself. And he starts speaking some German or Austrian. I don't know the language. Don't shit on me for it. I'm sorry. But from now on, Kaiser needs to stand on his own 2 feet, which is where I'm thinking of the idea of Saturday or Survivor Series. And that's when Kaiser turns on Gunther because he's tired of Gunther berating him. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You following me now?
I'm
So
following you for sure.
Gunther asks Kaiser if he sees the old ring general, and he speaks some more German or Austrian. And then Gunther walks towards Damien, signing some stuff. And then Gunther didn't even say anything, puts a sleeper on Damien. But a little bit, some of the highlights: Gunther low blows, Damien low blows Gunther, and Gunther reached for his steel pipe before Damien basically beats his ass and stands over him. Which I'm kind of interested. Where the hell did Kaiser go? He was just there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So,
What the fuck, man?
um, but Pierce comes in to check on Gunther, and Damien gets asked by Pierce. He goes, "What the hell just happened?" And he goes, "Gunther in the ring is a general, but in the streets, I'm a king." I was like, "That's hard." That made you sound kind
That
of like a
line was
hoe, but
hard.
that was kind of tough.
That line did go hard as fuck. I have to say, I audibly said out loud after this segment happened, "What in the fuck just happened?"
I
I cannot. I'm not a fan of. So there, I like. Oh my god. So how do I phrase this without
Your
sounding
head's
actually
hurting.
stupid and
Your head's hurting.
contradicting myself? How do I not contradict myself in 30 seconds when I continue talking when after I say this? I
Well, your brain and
don't
your
like
heart are
the
both
idea
speaking.
of I don't like the idea of Gunther having this self-confidence issue, but at the
Right.
same time I feel like it's needed to add layers onto his character so that he's more than just awesome wrestler who beats everybody up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely needed. I feel like maybe they're pulling the trigger on it too soon though, because I really would have liked to see this first title reign from Gunther be chop, 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 power bomb, win, sleeper every match. Like,
Basically Goldberg style of
yeah,
basically
like a Goldberg type run.
Goldberg type run without the
Honestly,
title or with the title.
yeah,
Yes, I
honestly,
like that.
yeah.
Okay,
Where he
I can
eventually
follow
gets
that.
defeated by Ilya, or to make Ilya a giant star, or by Kaiser finally going into the main event scene, or maybe by Damian to progress their feud, or by Finn Balor like you've pitched, or by CM Punk like I've pitched. But any of those can still happen, by the way. But the idea of like now Gunther's kind of like this look into my eyes, which I also, by the way, I think this was a CM Punk reference when he said "look into my eyes, Kaiser." I think the
Sure.
CM Punk Gunther feud is going to come sooner or later down the line. I'm calling it now, but I'm not trying to get into that right now. I don't like the idea of Gunther being all like, "Am I still the same ring general?" Like, oh my gosh, like bro, you've lost you lost to a roll up by Cody Rhodes, and then you lost to Sami Zayn earlier in the year. Like you're fine. Come on now.
Yeah, if you look at his matches this year, he's doing pretty solid, I'd say. So at least on TV, I don't know what's going on in the house shows, but on TV, he's
For
looking
sure,
pretty
for sure,
solid.
for sure. But that's kind of my stance on this whole thing with Gunther right now.
No, I get
Mixed
it too
feelings about it for
because
sure.
that's exactly how I felt about Jey Uso's title run, and then I kind of just bit the bullet and realized that this was designed. The reason he had this was to kind of prove himself, be like, yeah, I don't need them, and then goes and joins them, not because he needs them, but he knows that what Solo is doing is wrong.
Hmm.
So I mean, I get it 100%. I know where you're coming from because it's exactly how I felt with Jay. But I
Right,
definitely, like you were saying, it adds layers to his character, which I like.
right. Like I'm always gonna like Gunther being more of like a character. Like I do think Gunther is a mainstay main eventer now in the Triple H era. To be fair,
Yeah. I mean, he's like 36, I think. I want to say he's like 36.
yeah. So there's time for him to like develop this character and stuff like that. But this is just like a personal gripe that I have for it, like at the moment.
No, he's 37. So, I mean, I don't know. I just want, hey, hold on. Listen to these ring names. Because I was looking up his name, I was looking up his, like, when he was born, right? And I get it to ring names. We got Big Daddy Walter, Big Van Walter, Shark,
Shut the
Gunther.
fuck up! You did not just say Big Daddy Walter when I took a drink.
No,
Oh my god!
no, because I have the one after the one after Walter is interesting. Gacha Ping. It's GHA-CHA-PING. Gacha Ping.
Gotcha, ping.
Yeah,
Where does that come from?
I don't know. It's just ring names. So I wonder if it's some indie name that he had.
Wow, interesting. I never
But
heard that one before.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from, man. I don't blame you at all. I'm not a fan of this title reign either for the fact that again, I do think he should be beating more, but I don't. I like again, I do like this idea of Damien being pulled into the title scene and Finn just he's still on Damien's heels because he hasn't had the title in 7 years. Like he's just
Hmm.
been biting at that ever since he got injured.
Oh yeah, oh
This should
yeah.
be
I
like
like the idea of him doing
9 years,
that.
something like that. I don't know.
It's an insane
So
amount of time.
that's where I'm sitting at with it.
Hmm.
I know exactly where you are.
Right. Like you said you're not a big fan of it. Is like you kind of feel the same way though.
Yeah, I do, but I don't think it should be like a Gunther type thing. Not Gunther, Goldberg type thing where he just chop 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 power bomb chokehold. That's the match. I think it should
Well, he
be a
should definitely
similar.
have like some competition.
No, for sure. That's where I was getting at. I think he should definitely have more of the matches with the Cody Rhodes types of wrestlers, the
Hmm.
Randy Ortons, like the Sami
Yes.
Zayns. Like it just
Yeah.
those long matches with Gunther. It makes you really realize like Gunther, he's beatable, but he's not going to stop until he beats your ass like at all.
Right.
That's what I
And
like about him.
also the self confidence like thing for Gunther works inside of the match, like within the story of a match. like after like Randy Orton kicks out of like two power bombs and breaks the sleeper hold, like Gunther should be like freaking out, like having a self confidence issue, like oh my god,
especially after
I
that
can't
roll
put him
up from
out.
Cody.
Yeah, like he should be having self confidence issues in matches when he can't get the job done. But like just in general in everyday life, I don't feel like I like the more of like the Gunther that was just so self confident and he'd tear everybody apart in his promos every time.
I definitely
He still
agree
kind
because
of is.
I do like this idea of how Damien pulled the whole card of when he pulled back from their SummerSlam promos and everything. How Gunther was like, "No, I am the golden goose of my family." Typically, like I'm not, trying to like dog at anyone, but like typically some rich kids, like when they can't get beat or when they start getting beat, they start getting really self conscious. Is exactly what Gunther does.
Mm.
Like those rich athletes that are like super good at their sport and it's really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
Gunther basically is in wrestling.
Right.
So I don't know. That's what I gotta say. But
Oh sure.
I think I think we get into I think we get back into Raw. And stop talking about Gunther.
Oh yeah,
Um,
we got a Gunther rant there.
for sure. But the War Raiders, they're warming up backstage for their match against Dom and Carlito. Dude, I'm not. I don't know how I feel about this. Really, that match, but
I just saw this note.
we'll get to that match. Um, we get to the Intercontinental Championship match though, and Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. Um, this is basically not big men, but they were smacking some man meat.
Yes, sir.
It was an absolute fucking banger,
Smacking man, mate.
and that's all I basically had to say about this match. It was an absolute fucking banger. I don't look. I'm a fan of more of the promo side of wrestling, the storytelling. I love the storytelling side of wrestling, which is why I typically don't know a lot of wrestling moves, which I was learning. I learned a lot from when you write down the notes and everything. But I just can't keep up with that all that typing because my fingers don't move that fast because I use a keyboard and not my phone. And basically though, Kaiser comes in the interference, which I guess answers my question now. Where was Kaiser? Um, but I think this turns into a triple threat of Survivor Series where Gunther loses against Damien and Kaiser wins at Survivor Series, which pulls into that second idea I had for Gunther and Kaiser, and this is how you split them up because Kaiser starts going on this tear. Gunther just lost his title, and now he's really like he's panicking, and then Kaiser kind of steps in. He goes, "Huh, kind of looks like I'm the ring general now," and that's where he basically goes on his I won't say his tear, but that's where he starts self-proclaiming himself as the greatest IC title champion ever, or IC champion ever.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
I do.
That's where I pull that out
I do. I like where I like where it's coming from though. Like Kaiser getting involved in the IC title scene, I think is long overdue. Like it's about damn time he finally like got involved in this shit. Like especially I like the fact where he was like, "I'm gonna end you, Sheamus," where he's still after him. So like it is definitely for sure. I think gonna be triple threat at some point, either a Saturday
yeah,
night's main event or Survivor Series.
not for sure,
But what was the other part I was gonna say here? Oh yeah, Breaker versus Sheamus. Oh my god, it was so fucking good, bro. Fucking 10 out of 10. I loved it.
absolute
It
fucking
lived up
banger
to the hype, bro. It was bang. It was bang. It was bang. It was back and forth, back and forth. Kind of just wish it had a finish, but I feel like that's like gonna happen at a PLE at some point. That's got to be like a singles match at a PLE.
for sure. That's what I'm saying. I think that's where he starts self-proclaiming, and then this is where Gunther gets really pissed off, and then we see what if we see 1, 2, 3, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, Gunther wins back the title, and it becomes this big idea of, oh my god, Gunther isn't like as weak as he used to be. He just wasn't thinking as smart, so he loses the first two. And basically, what he does, how to earn the WrestleMania 41 match, he does what everybody else does. He goes and attacks. He starts getting really pissed off, and so he goes and attacks Kaiser and wins because he had to pull out literally everything from the bag and he had to start thinking smarter than what he was thinking at the time.
Hmm. Okay. I do like that. I like where you're thinking with it. You know.
But
For sure.
so
For sure.
I know I definitely we just talked about it, not the idea of Gunther being that type of champion, but I mean,
I do
that's
like this
where
being the catalyst of them splitting up. Like your idea of Kaiser winning the IC title and eventually going on such a long reign where he starts to like look at Gunther and be like, oh, I might be nipping at your heels now, and that kind of starts to play into the storyline between them. I feel like could be amazing. Like that could be really good, especially with this whole new like self-conscious like Gunther character he's portraying that we just talked about,
yeah, I think
where
we
he
could play
really
that all
could
into
make a presence.
WrestleMania.
Yep, that could all start playing in WrestleMania.
So after this, we get to Seth Rollins being backstage. The Bloodline walks in. You know, the good Bloodline, the Usos and Sammy. Jay wants to holler at Seth though, and he goes, Sammy. He goes, Sammy. Yeah, Sammy said that him and the Usos have been with or have beef with Roman still, and Jay knows that Seth has beef with Roman as well. And Sammy's trying to convince Seth to join him for War Games. Um, kind of similar to or he brings up Cody and Seth at War Games 2023. And Seth would stand side by side with the Usos and Sammy, and Seth said he will never stand side by side with Roman. It hurts him to say that, but he wants Reed in a cage to tear him apart. And Seth says none of this is worth it. He understands him, but it's not worth it for any of them. He's gonna drop Reed, and whatever happens at War Games is on the Usos and Sammy. He goes, "Good luck, but I'm out." Jimmy, Jimmy. I hate his ass so much. He goes, "Man, no yeet."
Man, no yeet. I'm like, bro, Jimmy, bro, I feel you there.
So I mean, it's kind of
I do, man. Like I've been saying it this whole time. I like Seth not joining War Games. Like I'm very like I'm for it. Like I don't want him in this shit. And if he does, and if he did, I already know what happens. He's obviously not the fifth man. But if he did ever end up in War Games, my idea was like, if they had to do it, then the only way to do it is Seth gets in there, they win the match, and then he immediately stomps Roman. That was like my whole idea is if Seth had to be in War Games. Now knowing
what
what
was
happens on Friday.
what was that idea about Seth though? Or no, actually we're gonna wait. I think we should wait for that for SmackDown because I think you had texted me about Seth and the Bloodline's fifth man.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure, for sure.
Dakota Kai has a promo video, and we see a replay of Pure Fusion Control, taking her out, and she talks about her being on the sidelines, and there's potential doubt about coming back from injury like every wrestler has, and Kylie wants this and wants to show everyone why she's a champion. Basically, what was said. And then we see a replay of the women brawling to start the night. Rhea Ripley screaming "War Games." Women's War Games was confirmed. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi for Team A. Team B being Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. And so we now get into the Dominic Mysterio and Carlito versus War Raiders match. Basically, this was to help wear the War Raiders down for Finn and JD. Didn't do much, actually. After the match, JD and Finn attacked the War Raiders. I'd say Finn and JD lose the titles, and Finn goes after Damien at Saturday Night's main event if him and Gunther run it back for Gunther's rematch.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I like that. I
Which
like
is this is
because
this
Finn
is how
said
you
he's not
start
done with
the
him.
Finn versus Damien storyline. They have a match at Royal Rumble. Damien wins, and Finn's like, "Well, shit, I still want this title." He enters himself in Elimination Chamber, wins that, beats Damien at WrestleMania.
Hmm. I like it.
There's a lot I have. I think I have all the storylines that I was saying out because I had forgotten all of them. I think I remember all of. I think I just said all of them now, so I think we're good. But
He's got it all figured out.
I think at this point, JD, Dom, or Collider becomes the tag team. Finn gets his world title, and it's similar to Rhea and Damien. It's similar to Rhea and Damien's Judgment Day, but there's a leader this time.
Hmm. I wouldn't even have it be that, I would just straight up have Finn go out on his own. Because like the tension that seems to be building between him and Dominic has me thinking that like they're about to like lose it on or like someone's about to like leave the group or something like that. Like the way Finn kind of threw Carlito and Dominic under the bus when it came to the match with the War Raiders, which we all saw how that went with two for them.
Yeah, for real.
Um,
That was not good.
it's amazing. I fucking love the War Raiders. But yeah, I definitely think that a split's coming up soon for them, and I want Finn to just gun after Damian first, settle that beef, potentially win the feud. I don't know, depends on where you stand, but then go after the world title and put himself straight into the main event scene again because like it is goddamn 8, 9, 7, however long years ago.
It'll
Too
be like,
many.
because when did he debut? Wasn't it 20?
It was
It's
2016 when SummerSlam happened.
yeah. So it'll be 9 years this coming year. Jeez,
God damn, bro.
that's crazy to think
That
about.
is a
Oh my.
crazy thing to think about.
Oh damn,
Damn.
damn. All right, I think we get to the next segment though. We
This
get
is my
Bo
favorite segment from
Dallas.
Raw. I
This
fucking love this shit.
bro, for some god forbidden reason, I thought this was Bray.
He looks just like Bray. He sounds just like Bray. Like, oh my god.
And my dad hit me with the idea. I did not like this at all, but understandably, I could somewhat see where he's coming from. He goes, "Dude, what if Bray faked his death?"
Bruh.
Which, because what was the idea behind it? He had like a valid. I think he had a valid idea behind it. Where was it? Um, it was more of the fact that like, damn, I don't remember what it was, but it was a really valid idea. I wish I could remember. Um,
That would be insane.
that's what I'm saying though. Like, what?
Like, what the fuck? Man. Man. This
Oh,
fucking Bo
this is
Dallas.
this is what he said. This is what he said. I found it. He goes, "Yeah, I saw Bray in the background and had a sick thought. What if Bray isn't dead and this has been a play all along?" And I was like, "Dad, Bray's death wasn't faked. I hate to say it. Like genuinely, like Bray was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and now that he's unfortunately passed, it sucks."
I definitely I've been very vocal that I don't share the same like personal like connections like a lot of people have with Bray Wyatt. They're like, he's my favorite wrestler. Like I've never really connected with Bray Wyatt at all as a wrestler. Because I mean, like you mentioned earlier, you're more of into the promo parts of
Yeah.
pro wrestling and the storytelling.
Hmm.
I'm the opposite. I'm the coin flip. I'm the match guy. I like
Which
the
is
bell to bell action. Like that
which
is
is
what
why
I
this works
turn
so
on.
well with us.
Yeah, which is what I turn on. I turn on pro wrestling to watch that good old wrestling, you know.
Good old wrestling.
But so Bray Wyatt was never really my guy because he never really connected with me in ring standpoint. But I can't. I'm also the same guy who the Undertaker is my favorite wrestler of all time, and we all know him. So I can
Yeah.
appreciate the fact that he is one of the greatest minds of the modern era ever in pro wrestling.
Which I
So
will
like,
say.
yeah,
Um. Um. Speaking of the Undertaker, him being an older guy. Did you hear what Triple H said about the old guys?
no, what do you say about the old guys?
He goes, the old guys are all like, "Man, this stuff sucks." And he goes, "Well, yeah, that worked in your era. If it turned into what I wanted, this shit would die." And he's not wrong.
You ain't wrong.
I agree because this is more like Vince said. This is more modern era. This is more what's going on. These types of characters are more what's going on in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes. Yeah, I feel that.
that's where I sit with it.
Hmm. I totally agree with that. I like the fact
But
I do like it more though. It's more people like playing real people though.
hmm but to getting back into this, the Wyatts offered Miz salvation, and he tried to warn the Miz. He goes, "You damned yourself. I'm sorry for what happens next. You chose this, and your hands will be crimson, scarlet, red because of your actions. Miz will lose what matters most, and Bo never wanted this." So that means that basically confirmed for me that they had amends. They had made amends.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
like Miz had told him that like he was gonna stop all of this shit and that he was gonna go, and then he lied just to get the final testament, like to beat the shit out of him. And I do like the. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it because it's Bo Dallas and the Wyatts, but I do like the hint where he emphasized the name, like the like word when he said, "Your hands will be crimson, scarlet, red," where he emphasized that name because Scarlet's in the Final Testament's group. I
mhm,
don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it there, but like I everything about this promo read OG like Bray Wyatt mixed with this new Uncle Howdy Bo Dallas character that we're getting, and it hit in every single way.
I agree, 100%. I agree on that.
And,
And after
yeah.
this, not even. I don't. Yeah, after this, Lyra Valkyria, we get a promo video. Basically, we're here to hype herself up. That's where we're at with it. Nothing too special. Then we get Alpha Academy. They walk into Kofi Kingston and they ask about Xavier. Xavier comes in and starts pleading his case to Kofi. And Kofi's still worried about Cross. Kofi's like, we need to remember who the New Day is. Like, and Xavier gets upset because he thinks he thinks it's targeted towards him. And Kofi's like, nah, dude, like it's we need to work together as a team. But Alpha Academy's like, yeah, Xavier, you guys got this, no worries. And Xavier's like, what are you talking about? And starts bringing up how the New Day is better than the Alpha Academy and all that jazz, and why Chad Gable left their ass. And Xavier wants New Day versus Alpha Academy on Monday.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
How far out are we from the New Day 10-year celebration thing?
I think it's on Monday.
Is it on Monday?
I think so because it was in November, from what I've seen.
Okay. I hope so because it's supposed to be soon. But this
Let me
feels
double check.
like I'm sitting here every single Monday, and every time I see Kofi walk in screen, and then I see Xavier walk in screen, and then I think to myself, "Oh, great! It's time to watch my parents argue again." I don't want to
Yeah,
watch mom and dad go through a divorce. I don't want to see New Day break up. But holy shit, is the drama good to watch?
November 28th, 2014. So I think it's going to be. It's a Thursday, so they're probably going to do it on Monday. Yeah, to be honest,
Hmm.
because right here it says the New Day made their debut as or on November 28th, 2014.
Hmm.
But it was
We
apparently
shall see.
formed on July 21st. So I don't know what's correct. I'm gonna take the second one because they've been pushing
Probably when the
the
vignettes
November
started,
idea.
you know.
That's probably yeah, but I think it's more yeah. Honestly, I agree to that. So I like this new heel Xavier. I think I'm starting to like this heel
I
Xavier
do
more and
too.
more.
I hope it leads to like maybe a singles title. I really
Really?
hope it does. Because then that would complete. Maybe it's not the world. Maybe it is. Fuck it. Anyone can do it. CM Punk returned to WWE last year. Anything can fucking happen. Xavier Woods can win the world championship for sure.
Oh, God, I would like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Make him King of the Ring again.
Yeah, for sure. That would give him a guaranteed title shot. Then he can,
Exactly.
like, then he can, like parade the king gimmick for real this time. Because Vince McMahon won't be shitting on it the whole time.
Yeah, Vince made the thing and then he shit on it. Make it make sense.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Vince is a dumbass. I'm
I
sorry. Peace
don't
out.
understand
I don't care
this.
about this. Like I care about his allegations and I think his ass should go to prison. But I mean, I don't buy the whole Trish Stratus said, "Oh yeah, that was actually my idea, and I really like that idea." I don't fucking buy that. I'm sorry. I'm not buying
Nada.
it. So we get into big Bronson Reed versus Seth freaking Rollins. Basically, what happens? Tongans, Jacob Fatu show up. Usos and Sammy come and take them out. Usos take Jacob out ringside. Solo shows up, stands on the announce table, costing Rollins the match. That's basically what it was. Which I thought this was build up for War Games up until Friday. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, look at what I thought it was gonna be too. Like Seth kind of got fucked up by bro afterwards in the match, but like at the end of this, it really did feel like Seth might have to bite the bullet and go like say, all right, I'll do this for Sammy, I'll do this for Jay, I'll do this for Jimmy. Roman, you can go fuck yourself because after the match we'll settle this. But for one night, I won't stomp your head into the ground until the bell's over, then he should.
Here's my thing though. Didn't Seth say during WrestleMania season, "This is a monster I created"?
Yeah,
Didn't he
he
say
did.
that? So I don't
He
know.
did.
It's just
He
something
did. But
I thought.
yeah, this is just like this is also like people are probably like thinking like, oh my god, if Seth and Roman do team up, it's like the Shield reunions finally happen. I don't ever want to see Seth and
Bro,
Roman team up ever again because I never
bro,
want to
okay, the
see
one
any idea of a Shield reunion without Dean.
exactly, which is I was gonna say I would have bought it if it was WrestleMania 40 because he was like in like big issues with AEW around them, but that motherfucker was in Tokyo, Japan. Oh, that is so irritating.
Mm,
So I hope Mox comes back because Triple H is now in power, but we don't know.
maybe one day. Who knows? Everything he's doing in AEW, he's a three-time AEW World Champion. So who knows? He's the current World
I thought he was a
Champ.
4-time world champion.
Fucking A, does intermediate count?
I don't
So God damn it, I'm not getting into this right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you were done with Raw?
know. Yeah, let's dive into
Alright,
SmackDown.
it's time to dive right into Friday Night SmackDown. We opened with a recap video of everything with the Bloodline last week, including the failed call from Roman to the Wise Man. We'll see more on that later in the show, but the fake Tribal Chief, Solo Sikoa, and his Team Moo Bloodline make their entrance along with the Ozzilla himself, Bronson Reed. He goes, Salt Lake City, acknowledge me. Everyone boos the fuck out of him because we hate Solo. He goes, we 1 week out from War Games and his crew is ready to dominate. But you know who's not ready? Roman Reigns. Roman ain't even here yet. When Roman gets here, though, Solo wants him to meet him in that ring that he's standing in right now so that they can talk about his surrender so him and his crew can finally acknowledge him.
Dude, this promo was boring as fuck.
Yeah, man. Come on, Solo. You're kind of funny now. Like, you got this whole goofy side of your character. Like, come on now. He definitely could have done more with it. But not
I'm
my
sorry.
favorite not my favorite Solo promo.
Mm-mm.
But then we move into one of those interesting parts of the night. Honestly, highlight. Ah, is
This was
this
one
the
of the
highlight of
highlights.
the night? Is this the
It
best
depends
part of the entire night? Because
if we're
it is
putting
the
it
women's. Go ahead.
if we're putting it into the fact that if you're breaking it down into men's and women's, then yes, this is the sorry, I had to wash my hands real quick.
You're fine.
This is one of the best in terms of the women's, yes, entirely. But in terms of the men's, I mean, it's a fight because there's two really compelling storylines happening this night. So I don't know. I think
For
you.
sure, for sure.
I think it's a toss up. I mean, it depends on who you are, really. That's where I'm going to put it
Right.
because I
But
have a
we
lot
are
I want to
all.
build on this.
But I hope you are, of course, referencing to Chelsea Green winning this match and forwarding into the United States Championship tournament because it is the U.S. Championship first round triple threat. Bianca, Chelsea, and Blair Davenport. Chelsea wins the
Definitely
match.
wasn't referencing it, but okay.
Chelsea
I was
fucking
pissed.
wins the match. Let's go, Chelsea! I swear to God, bro, she's my pick to win this tournament. I need it to happen. Everyone in the arena knew. The fucking commentary team knew. Management knows. Make it happen, please. But yeah, fun ass little match. You know, honestly, it was kind of really good. They all kind of went popping off in the beginning. They all traded roll ups in the beginning. Blair ties Bianca's hair up in the ropes at some point, and Chelsea shines later after hitting a Rough Rider, shouting out Matt Cardona, her husband. All three women getting some big shots until Bianca eats the ring post and hits a 450. Jade is then seen on the Jumbotron. This is the part we all want to get into. She's laid out on a fucking car windshield hood. Her face is all busted up, and everyone is all like, "Oh my god, Jade's dead! Fuck, get the ambulance."
That's what I'm saying.
Um, Bianca runs backstage. Well, actually, she's kind of conflicted for a little bit. She's like, "Do I go down? Do I go back there? Do I fight to make history and become the first women's U.S. champion?" But she
What does
chooses the
she do?
power of friendship, and she goes to her partner's aid. And this lets Chelsea Green hit the unpretty her for the fucking win. Oh my god, I'm so happy about that.
Bro, let's
But
just point out Blair had no pop
yeah, Blair
at
had no
all.
problem. No one gives a fuck about Blair.
Honestly, I thought it was a bigger pop for Chelsea Green than I thought it was going to be.
She's the favorite. She's
And
the
I know, and
favorite.
that's what pisses me off because I don't think you should put it on a comedy character first if you want to establish the title's existence. You know what I'm saying?
I do under. Okay, so I completely
Because
100% see where you're coming from.
you want to know what's also crazy? She's fucking
Mhm.
Canadian.
That makes it so much funnier. That makes it so much fucking funnier.
I think
Especially if
she's
she
from like
comes out
Toronto
every
or
week.
something like.
Especially if
That's what I'm
every week she
saying.
comes out dressed in red, white, and blue.
That's
Oh
yeah.
man.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so
So,
bad.
oh my
She's from
god.
Victoria, British Columbia.
That would be pretty funny. But I do. There's more matches later, like in the second half of the bracket. I'm interested to see. We'll get more into. There's a question I want to ask about, obviously, this tournament later on because of Jade's condition, but more on that later, obviously. I want to move
Yeah.
now into the parking lot now, where we see Bianca Belair running up to the ambulance that Jade is being loaded into as Naomi and Bailey are already there. They're watching Jade get it loaded in, and they're getting like talked to by Nick Aldis. Bianca tells Bailey basically to back off, as she's getting into the ambulance, and it drives off.
Who did it?
Here we go. It's our modern day who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I
um,
I have one, two, three, four, five, six. I have six names: Bianca, Naomi, Bailey, Charlotte Flair, or the team of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to take her out for Survivor Series.
Either one of them is really good, honestly.
I'm
Either
buying
one of them.
Naomi right now more than anything because of her face when Bailey hugged her before the match, before their tag match on Friday. She's looking directly at the camera like she's like something's like there's just something off about her. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I didn't catch that at all during my watch of the show. To be fair,
That's what I'm saying. I pay attention to storylines, man.
that's
Every
crazy.
little action. I don't care what it is. I'm looking at the actions. I'm not looking at. I don't know. I'm into this. So Bianca and I say this. They find Jade later on, not realizing what happened until Bianca's out there, and Bianca's now playing this as a ploy. But I think it also kind of plays off the rumor that's circulating around that Bianca and Jade aren't friends in real life. Have you seen that?
I think that's dumb. I think that's just who put that out there. It was Jonathan fucking Coachman. It was the coach. I don't
I don't
believe
know.
that,
I don't buy
honestly.
it.
He based
Um,
that off of the fact that Bianca gets her ring work hand built by herself, and Jade gets it done by somebody else.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't buy that. I think that's just a dumb report, personally.
Bailey, because Bailey wants to be in War Games, and so she had to take out Jade in order to do that. Which, and this is what I saw on Twitter earlier. Bailey is played off as the one because Bianca is like, "Oh yeah, you took out my partner." Da 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 da. And Bailey's like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But please, just let me team with you this one night." And then this is where Bianca keeps playing as Bailey, and then we see the night of Survivor Series that it was Naomi, and Naomi's nowhere to be seen. and so she doesn't know what the hell just happened. But Bianca and Bailey don't say anything, and so they become friends. Not they don't have to be friends for like ever, but they can be friends for that night, which leads into the War Games, and basically just throughout the match they all fight and everything. But it it kind of plays Bianca and Bailey start going after Naomi at some point. I don't know.
Hmm.
Or with going back to the Naomi idea, she's now building her big three because she's jealous of Jade and Bianca having titles, and so she's building her big three with Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson.
Lash Legends actually, I think, a really like interesting call for that one because like I actually want to call back to her later on because like I mean, if you want to jump ahead, like Jade gets taken out of the U.S. Championship tournament obviously because of this,
Yeah,
and so my
her
prediction right now,
injuries are crazy.
I think all of that's a work. Personally, I don't think she's actually injured,
Dude,
but
are you fucking serious? These are some crazy ass serious injuries.
what would she have done to get hurt?
The way she could have landed. I mean, so these are the injuries. Like I already read them earlier to you, but these are the injuries: deep lumbar paraspinal muscle contusion. So something's going on with her back. Bruised kidney again, back. Sprained MCL in her right knee, meaning she really can't walk. Tibial plateau bone bruise of her right knee, so bruise on her kneecap. That shit sucks. I've had mine fractured. A facial lacerations. We see the picture. That's fucked up. Which makes me think it's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez who did it.
Yeah, but like I don't think any of those are like.
They
I don't
pull a
think she's
Rhea Ripley.
legitimately. I don't think she's legitimately having muscle contortions in her back or nothing from like this. I feel like this is like maybe they're pushing this as I don't really know. Like honestly, maybe she's legitimately injured. Like maybe
There's
I'm
no time. They
stupid.
say there's no timetable right now. I don't think they would post that unless it was. I don't think they would do anything like this unless it was that serious. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
Maybe
saying you're wrong, but I'm just saying I don't know if they would actually do it. I don't know if they tweet something out like that
maybe you're
if
right.
it wasn't
Maybe you're
if
right.
it
I'd like
wasn't
to. I would
serious.
like to think that you're right because I don't want anyone to like. I mean yeah.
No, and I don't want you to think that I'm trying to tell you that I'm right. I'm just trying to that's how I feel about it,
Yeah, I
honestly.
understand.
So
Right. Like what? How am I trying to phrase this? It feels like I'm trying to like wish ill will onto somebody when I'm not trying
yeah,
to, but like
no, yeah,
I'm not trying to, but like
I know what you're trying to say because you're trying to basically make it. You're trying. Does this build into war games? Are you like? Does this
yeah,
idea
like
not build
this
into war
builds into
games?
WrestleMania
Or
is my
WrestleMania?
idea is that Jade comes back either in Royal Rumble or after Royal Rumble or something like that to or at the Raw after Netflix is the big one for me where Jade returns at the Raw after Netflix with video proof of who attacked her and that sets up our WrestleMania feud which is maybe Jade and Bianca, but I honestly don't think so based on a really dumb idea that I had, and it's the fact that Jade Cargill is not landing in the position that you would land if you were given the KOD.
No, that's fact. That's fact, and I buy that 100%, and I
Yeah,
get that.
so that's
But
the only piece of evidence
you
that
can
I go
tell
off
she
as not
did
being
slide
Bianca's.
down the car though, because where the crack is, it goes right down the middle, and then it's like kind of spread out both sides where a body would land. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So 100, I see that. But
Yeah.
but hear me out. What if Bianca did the KOD on the hood? You know what I'm
Maybe.
saying? Or not on the hood,
Like,
not on the hood, but the
or
roof of
maybe
the
it was
car,
a
the roof of the
power
car.
bomb off of, or maybe it could have been even just a power bomb off of like that docking area. It couldn't have, like, maybe not even been a KOD or something like that, based on like just all of that.
But I just want to know where the facial lacerations came from.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the one that leads me to like Liv or Raquel because it's the baseball bat that they like using.
Exactly. And if you want to really play that idea, then Rhea really isn't injured either, but you can tell Rhea's fucked up.
Oh yeah, Rhea's definitely fucked up. She has to have that facial mask. I'm pretty sure she has to have like
Mhm.
special regulations to go into war games or something like that.
I think it's gonna just be similar, like when somebody breaks their nose. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. I mean,
So
hell, Brian Danielson wrestled with a broken orbital bone as well, so it's
yeah,
doable.
who knows? It is very doable.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But but I don't think I actually like answered who I think officially did this in my opinion as of right now. I think it was Naomi, based on everything that you said. Like, I didn't catch the actual camera look, but based on
I'll
that,
say
I think it's
I was able to get that, or they were able to pull that picture. So I wanted to put that in there because I was like, I know there's probably a chance you missed it, but I know there's a chance you probably saw it.
I
But
was
I want to put
probably
that
I
in
was
there just
probably
to point
busy
that out.
typing out like the ending of the match or whatever happened.
That was at the beginning. That was before the match even started.
Oh shit! Who knows what I was fucking doing? Who knows? But as this happens, we then move into a United States Championship match. I don't even know if this was advertised as an open like contendership or whatever, but like it's LA Knight versus Santos Escobar. And before we even get into any of this, I am just
I think it
kind
was
of
advertised as an
tired.
open challenge because he's
I'm
trying
just
to
tired.
establish a fighting champion.
Right, right. I do like LA Knight doing the open challenge gimmick. I do.
Yes.
But I'm just tired of Santos going after LA Knight. I said it last week, I'll say it again. Like, oh my god, I don't want to see it again. We've seen it a
Did
million damn times.
did you did you see what like his pop?
He didn't get a pop, did he?
Exactly.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Exactly.
What pop? Santos has
Exactly.
no aura whatsoever about him. He's got nothing
Exactly.
here. Oh my goodness. But someone who I do feel like is revitalizing his like character and like his crowd reactions is Shinsuke Nakamura. As the match is about to begin, he has a video that interrupts, and in Japanese, he says that he knows LA Knight better than he knows himself. He knows that he's desperate for the fans' attention, and his ego is all used to cover up his insecurities that are all weighing him down in his everyday life. Says he will be Knight's end, and as he's talking, just Santos attacks Knight in the ring. Match begins. Bam. There you go.
Bam. Boom. Bam. Bow.
Bam, bing,
Bada
bam,
bada boom.
boom.
Bow. Oh.
The match was pretty quick. Santos keeps a steady lead until the champ fires back with a big neck breaker, but before he can hit the big elbow, Nakamura appears on the ramp. Knight is still able to counter a phantom driver later on for a BFT for the 1-2-3. It
This was
rhymes, so here we
badass.
go. Shinsuke then attacks him right after the match, throwing him into the ring post like five, six, fucking seven times or some shit. Like absolutely destroying this dude. And man, what are your thoughts on this new Shinsuke character?
I wouldn't be opposed if Shinsuke took it off of LA Knight. I would not be opposed.
Really?
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I don't know if I would be totally. I kind of would be because I want LA Knight to hold that bitch for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, I subscribe to the idea if you're gonna like change your like gimmick or like something like that, like you need a big win. So like I feel like Shinsuke kind of
Exactly.
needs a big win against LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am very fucking excited to see where this goes. After this, we then moved to a replay of the tag title match and what happened last week. Gargano trying to convince Motor City Machine Guns back. This is backstage now. Sorry. Gargano is trying to convince Motor City Machine Guns to give him and Ciampa a tag title match, but the Guns feel the Street Profits deserve the next shot after what happened last week and Ciampa interfering in the match. Profits then mock Johnny about Ciampa and tell the Guns to look out for him before walking out. Basically saying like no one can trust Ciampa. Like get him the fuck out of here.
We're getting Blackheart Champa back,
Oh, we are getting
baby.
Blackheart Ciampa. We'll definitely get more Blackheart later. Oh, and I'm fucking pumped about this. We then get OTC Roman Reigns and the OG Bloodline arriving in the building, and Nick asking Nia about what happened with Jade backstage. She says that she was helping Tiffany and Candice get ready before leaving, and just leaving Nick just standing there like a dumbass, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, dummy, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Cody walks by. He's clearly pissed off. He's storming to the ring. All just walks up. He goes, "Bro, what are you doing?" And like, what are you doing? And Cody goes, what do you mean? Like, the face to face was advertised with me and Kevin Owens. I'm going to the ring. And he goes, hold on. I don't even know if Kevin Owens is even in the building right now. Cody Rhodes says that he's not going to fall for that. And he's surprised Aldis would. And he goes to the ring for this face to face with Kevin Owens. Cody even does his whole entrance. The whoa!
Whoa! Cody,
Uh,
Cody Rhodes. Cody,
Cody
Cody
Rhodes.
Rhodes. The
And
French crowd was
Cody
crazy.
gets
I love it
to no,
forever.
dude. France crowd was so good for that, for introducing that chant to us. It's so good. He goes, though, it is time for a face to face, and I'll tell you who isn't here. Everyone thinking that's gonna be Kevin Owens, but he says Randy Orton. Even though it appears that Kevin Owens isn't at the building, he wants him to please get his ass to the ring right now, and he's
I like how
standing
he
there
asked so
calling.
proper.
Yeah, yeah, get his out. Yeah, like please, Kevin, please come out here. And he's just standing out there pissed. He kind of says his name a bunch of times. And Kevin eventually shows up with a microphone in the crowd, and he says that he can't miss this because of the great Cody Rhodes, who summoned him to Friday Night SmackDown, and that means he has to show up because it's the Golden Boy. You know how it is.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, hell, look at Kevin Owens. He even wore his best suit. Alex, like, did you see him?
I know.
Bro,
He
his
was paying.
best.
He was,
He was
he was paying
dressed to
for well.
impress.
Oh God.
Cody couldn't even wear his suit. He was wearing this whole tracksuit outfit and something like that. You can, look questionable. KO then taunts Cody, saying that he won't give him what he wants because, unlike that's what Cody's been given this entire time in WWE, Kevin Owens is going to be the one guy who's not going to give it to Cody because he's not going to come to the ring like Cody wants. Before he fights Cody, he wants to ask him one little thing. What has him so upset? Because everything that's happened over the last few months is Cody's fault. It's Cody's fault because for 4 years, KO fought the bloodline. He tried to they tried to end his career. More specifically, the man in charge tried to end his career. Roman Reigns himself ran over with a fucking golf cart, for crying out loud.
That's true.
God damn the humanity. He kept fighting even before Cody came back, and after Cody came back, he helped him fight. He calls back to Mania 39, helping him try to defeat the Bloodline. He kind of defeated his part of the Bloodline. He won the tag titles, even though Cody
Yeah, for real.
lost. He talks about celebrating with Cody at the end of Mania 40, and even after he helped him and helped celebrate with Cody, Roman Reigns comes back, says that he needs a partner, and who steps up? None other than Cody Rhodes. He
Yeah.
stepped up to help the man who tried to end KO's career. So yes, it's all Cody's fault. And you agree with Kevin? Would you say this is Cody's fault looking at it from this perspective?
I think it's Kevin's fault
Really?
because of what Cody says later on in this promo.
Okay. All
I
right.
do want to say that.
I'll keep diving into this then. Cody says that it's enough though, as Kevin says all of this stuff. He says that it's okay if Kevin wants to justify his actions that way by blaming Cody because he knows the real reason. The real reason is because Kevin Owens always has to play the victim, always has to paint the world against him and everyone holding him down. But newsflash, nobody holds Kevin Owens down more than Kevin Owens. He is obsessed with self sabotage and with being the number one guy without realizing this is a team effort. He's obsessed with being the number one guy, and he doesn't realize that it's a team effort. It's not just one guy in charge of everything. Cody kind of realizes that, but does he?
Hmm.
Sometimes it's
Yeah,
questionable.
for real.
He self pities himself and victim blames all while he has gotten every single achievement in WWE. He's a Grand Slam champion and is praised by everyone except himself. Self sabotage. That's what Kevin is. That's what he's all about.
Hmm.
KO
And it's
could
this
have
idea
won.
right here. This is why I think Kevin did it to himself.
Mhm. KO could have won the match in Berlin, but didn't pull the trigger. Cody had a bum
Exactly.
knee, had a bum back. Kevin didn't pull the trigger on the apron power bomb, didn't do what needed to be done, and he blames Cody for it.
That's exactly why I think Kevin did it because he did it to himself. He could have just let Cody do his thing, but he didn't. Like Cody promised him, it was a one-time thing. And what happens after Bad Blood? Kevin beats up Cody.
Yeah, he did that, dude. I remember when that broke. That was insane when you told me about that.
I was like, no fucking shot. Because I didn't
Yeah.
get. I don't think I got on Twitter the rest of that night. I think I
Mm,
showed you the next day.
yeah. This is a juicy, juicy promo. I just dropped my phone all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Cody just said though that Kevin didn't pull the trigger on him in Berlin. He said though later on, just a couple weeks ago, he finally pulled the trigger. It was just on the wrong guy. Randy was a legend and your friend. He didn't deserve what happened. KO pulled out an illegal move and pile drove this man, and this won't be settled with a microphone, so Cody will beat the lesson into Kevin. No matter where it's at, it's coming for Kevin, and the ball is in his court essentially. Kevin gets his mic back up and says that he'll fight Cody when he wants to. It's going to be on his terms. And when he does, just remember, he's just doing his job. He's just doing what they want him to do. He agrees with Cody that he did cross a line, but he loved Randy. Now he hates Cody. So just imagine what he's going to do to him.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm thinking apron pile driver or something like that. Package pile driver or something like that.
Has
Oh my
to.
God. Has to, just like Kevin Steen back in the day. But Cody finishes it off, says that he doesn't think he hates him. He thinks he hates himself. Wants KO to know there isn't a line he's not willing to cross either in this war they're essentially going into.
Illegal chair shot to the head.
Oh my God, please. Holy shit.
Kevin would be the one to take it too.
Kevin would be the one to take it. Either one of them would honestly be the one to take it looking at him. Like, man, that would be pretty insane.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm thinking something pretty crazy is going to happen. I'm thinking this does happen at Saturday Night's Main Event. If it was going to happen at Survivor Series, I feel like it would be announced already.
That's what I'm saying.
So I do think, which is weird because only three matches are announced for
Survivor
Survivor
Series right
Series:
now.
the World Heavyweight Championship, Women's and Men's War Games.
Last year we had 5, I think.
Yeah, and we're 1 week out.
Yeah, we still have 2 matches. That's
Yeah,
what's
still
crazy.
two
Like,
matches
so
to
I want to.
add.
They have to.
I'm
They're gonna
thinking
have to
maybe only one
milk
gets
the
added.
clock out of war games.
I'm thinking only one gets added. So I think it's gonna be a four-match card, and both War Games matches are gonna go a fucking truckload.
Yeah, last year's was 5. It was men's war games, women's world championship, intercontinental championship, and Dragon Lee versus Santos.
Yeah, I forgot about that match.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
match was lame because again, Santos has no aura.
Santos has no aura. That's so funny. But I think especially that Bloodline War Games match is gonna go. That's gonna be a movie and a half, y'all.
I agree.
It's gonna be a five-part miniseries. I swear to God.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of that Bloodline War Games match, we move to Roman Reigns and the OGs, as I'm going to call them for short, the OG Bloodline backstage. They won't surrender no matter what, but they need a fifth member. This is kind of a combination of like Jay and like Sammy kind of. Or no, Sammy says this. Sorry. Jay then pipes in. He throws out Cody Rhodes' name. Says, "What about Cody Rhodes, huh?" Roman says no, because that's old news. He's past that. Sammy wants to try Seth again. It's definitely clear Roman doesn't want to try Seth again. He gives him the death glare, bro. Which I liked. I liked the idea that Roman and Seth hate each other
they're
indefinitely
playing
now.
into this. Yeah.
Like they used to be brothers, but now they are just like that blood just makes the rivalry that much more bitter for them.
Did you see what Rollins said when he was asked about if himself, Roman, and Mox still all keep in touch?
No,
He goes, honestly, me and Roman, we talk like every once in a while, and Mox, we haven't heard from him in months.
I'm not surprised. I mean, he's in the rival promotion, the top fucking guy.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, he doesn't seem like the type of person either to be like the most like friendly, like out there keeping in touch and shit.
Bro, no, his wife even hates him sometimes because he's got a fucking android. He says, "I don't trust iPhones."
I don't trust iPhones. Max is fucking wild, bro. It's a crazy dude. His
That's what I'm saying.
head probably looks like hamburger meat at this point.
Yeah, probably. Chris Benoit
But
2.0. Oh,
oh my god!
I'm kidding. Mox Mox
Oh
won't do that.
my god!
You know him and
That's
LA Knight were roommates at one point.
crazy. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. But Roman proves though in this that he's kind of a bad leader. He's kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie.
Hmm.
Roman says that they don't need anyone else. They go out there together, and if they fall, they fall, and they go down together. They die out there. They die together. What the fuck kind of a leadership is that? I am not following him into battle. Not even gonna lie. I
You're
do
not
not
following.
want
You're
to. I
not
do
following
not.
Roman.
I'm not following Roman into battle when he's gonna basically say, "Yeah, we'll go in there for the fucking guaranteed loss. It's fine. They only have Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu."
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is a fucking beast. Everyone is in though because they're a bunch of fucking G's. But Roman admits, yeah, he's got no plan.
Yeah, there's no
See,
plan for
so
Roman.
you follow this man, he ain't got no plan.
I'm following
But I
him.
do
It's war.
following him. I do acknowledge my tribal chief though. I do have to say, acknowledge the OTC. And backstage again, Mello is seen talking to fucking Vinci, who we haven't seen in months. I don't remember last time we saw him. And Cody storms past.
It's been a fat minute.
It's been a fat minute. Mello chimes in, talking some shit about everyone in the locker room, thinking KO is right about Cody, only for Cody to get in his face and shove him basically to the ground. I mean, he fucking kind of trucked Mello. I'm not even gonna lie. Mello
That's
gets up,
true.
shoves him back though, gets right in his face, and they kind of like they're about to get into it, which I kind of respect Mello for stepping up to the WWE champion of all people.
Yeah, he even said
And
you need to fix your first round draft pick, motherfucker.
right, you need to fix your first round draft pick, readdress. All this is in there. The match gets made official for next week, though. I don't think it was made official in this like segment, but it does get made official. We then go to a match. It is Bayley and Naomi taking on Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton. It is Tiffy time.
It's
They're
Tiffy time all the
accompanied
time.
all the time. They're accompanied by Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. Tiffy and Candice argue over who's going to start the match. Tiffy does and eats a kick right away. Nia on the outside helps the two of them take control and constantly berates. Like just her voice is heard throughout the match. Like she lets herself be heard.
Yeah, Tiffy's crazy.
Yeah, Tiffy and Candice argue throughout the match, constantly costing them multiple opportunities to take control. Bayley tries tagging Naomi. During the match, Nia pulls her off the apron, being Naomi, and attacks her, causing the DQ, which I thought was kind of lame. I'm not even going to lie.
This was very lame.
But
I
then
will
we get
agree.
a huge brawl. It's Nia, Tiffy, and Candice destroying both of them. Io Sky shows up, but until Liv and Raquel show up to even, well, I guess not even the score, but I guess keep it in their favor. Rhea's music hits, and Mommy uses a kendo stick to chase them all away after this, though, because Rhea's just a damn badass.
My God.
And this is kind of like my thought with this is kind of like this is definitely kind of teasing Bayley as now being replacing Jade, right?
I would assume so.
That's kind of my assumption.
That's where I'm at with it.
Well, I mean, there's
We'll
like other
see.
names you could throw in there. Like I've like maybe like an NXT name would be a cool like call up like opportunity, just a random like who the fuck could you do? Julia or like fucking Roxanne Perez, fucking Jordan Grace or anybody literally from down there would be
I think
amazing to call in there.
honestly, I would not do Julia just because she's still new to WWE. I would do probably Lash Legend or Jakara Jackson if we're doing NXT. For the fifth, though, if we're doing main roster, it's Bailey 100%.
Mm, I think it's more likely to be Bailey. But in terms of Lash Legend, I think she's taken like Jade's spot in the U.S. tournament. Honestly,
Yeah.
um, then we go to. Uh, did I skip anything? No, I did not. Then we move
Mm-mm.
right into another match. It is Montez Ford, and we talked about the Black Heart earlier. It's Tommaso Ciampa. They both go 100%, and it looks like basically a old school black and gold NXT match between Champ and Montez Ford, both of them black and gold dudes.
Right.
Ciampa mercs Ford with a knee mid-air, sending him from the apron to, or no, this wasn't mid-air, sending him from the apron to the table. Ciampa starts turning it up after a spinning neck breaker and gets a near fall. Ford gets seemingly knocked the fuck out by a knee. This one was in midair, but manages to counter the fairy tale ending for a pinfall win. Ciampa attacks Ford after the match until Dawkins comes out and Johnny tries breaking up the brawl. Ciampa shoves Johnny to the ground again, starts standing over and berating him constantly until the Motor City Machine Guns run down the ramp, chasing him off. What are your thoughts on this? DIY breaking up on the main roster.
If you give Champa the title, a title,
A title, I agree.
because if you're gonna go Blackheart, might as well keep him ruthless and make him just go on an absolute tear through the main roster.
Mm, I kind of like it. Do you see a potential like push to the main event? WWE title, maybe?
Mm, maybe we'll see. We'll have to see how his U.S. title run goes.
Maybe. Already putting him on the U.S. title.
That's what I'm
I love it.
saying.
I love that. But no, for sure, for sure. I definitely agree with you. This should lead to a singles title run at some point, and it should lead, honestly, to Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa at WrestleMania, in my
That would be interesting.
opinion. Give him maybe
Kind
a
of replay.
stipulation, last man standing, maybe.
I think there's
Let him play with
a.
something.
I think they have a storyline from NXT that you could play off of.
Oh, they've got the story from NXT to play off of. It's like the main story from NXT for a long ass time. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah.
But after this, I am pretty excited though. Before I move on, about Triple H seems to be paying a lot more attention now to the tag team division, especially on
Yes.
SmackDown, since Motor City Machine Guns got the belt, and it seems like he's about to start putting more attention on the Raw ones, too, with the War Raiders getting them.
We assume the Warriors are getting him. We
I
don't know
assume the
just
War
yet.
Raiders are getting them.
We
Assume,
don't
assume
know.
is it. But what we do know is the or some of the matches that are happening next week for Friday Night SmackDown. Cody Rhodes versus Carmelo Hayes, as we talked about earlier, got confirmed. Jade will be replaced by a suitable replacement in the United States tournament. Cole says, and this is where I wanted to ask you, who do you think is going to replace her? I already threw out my name as Lash Legend.
Lash Legend. Um, hmm. Who else is on that women's division? Just on
It doesn't even
SmackDown.
have to be women's. It could be NXT, like we just said. I mean,
Oh,
Lash Legend
right.
technically did get called up to the main roster, but
I'm saying, yeah.
I would like to see an NXT call up get put into this tournament personally.
I could see Lash Legend. Honestly, that would be the one I would lean towards more than anything.
Because they said suitable replacement. Everyone's like, who's more of like a matchup for Jade than Lash Legend now? I think that's the route they're
Yeah,
going. For
honestly.
sure. Good to see we agreed on.
What if Lash wins it? Honestly, what if Lash wins it and
Ah,
Jade gets pissed that she wins it? So when Jade comes back, she goes after Lash. Which now I understand everyone wants Chelsea. Hear me out. Lash wouldn't be a bad
Chelsea.
idea because you're starting a fresh wrestler. You got basically another Jade Cargill on your main roster, and when Jade Cargill comes back, she can go after Lash because Lash took her spot in the tournament.
Mm,
After she gets done with her little beef of who done it,
the
basically.
who done it.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Damn. I like the idea of Lash Legend winning it. Not gonna lie. If it's like you said, if it's not gonna be Chelsea, the comedy one, because I would only have Chelsea win it for a week. Like if I'm gonna have Chelsea win it, Chelsea would win it for like a week, maybe a month, like at the longest, before she loses it to someone who's legitimately gonna carry that title into a legit like reign.
that's why I
And
want
that,
the first reign just to be the legitimate reign, and then you can play off with that however you want.
right, right. But Lash is a good shout. I feel like to even win the
Yeah,
whole thing, like fucking underdog if anything. But she is tied up in the tag team. I would say only thing
with
keeping that from
Chikara,
happening.
yeah.
But
I
then
agree.
we get to, oh my gosh, the best thing in the entire world. It was just so good. It was the main event segment of Friday Night SmackDown. It's Solo Sikoa and his bloodline making their entrance, but it's not long. Solo doesn't even get the mic to his lips before the OTC and the OG bloodline show up immediately, interrupting them. They make their entrance, but they don't brawl. They immediately get into the ring. I mean, obviously they take 5 years to get into the ring, so it's not immediate. But once they do, Solo says that he isn't here to fight Roman. He says that he loves Roman and that he loves all four of them still. The Usos, Sammy, Roman, all of them. If the four of them join him, then they can run the company for decades to come. They don't have to fight. They don't, or no, they don't have a fifth man. Sorry. They don't have a fifth man and they don't have a wise man. They also don't have a choice. So they can either join him or the four of them can die when they stand. And my only thought was like, bro, I thought this was a wrestling show. Where are we killing people? Like,
For real.
what the fuck?
For I'll give you
But
that.
we get the return, one of the returns of 2024, I will have to say already, because we got, ladies and gentlemen, and oh my god, the fifth man is here. The fifth man for War Games is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Paul Heyman for sure. Gets out onto the stage. Paul does the math, and 4 versus 5 doesn't work for the wise man. It's not going to be 4 versus 5. It will be officially 5 versus 5. Cult of Personality rings through the arena. Look in my eyes. What do you see? It's CM Punk storming down the ramp. Goes right after Reed. Punk helps the OG bloodline take out the new bloodline. Spear and a GTS at the same time sends the Tongans packing away. Punk and Roman face off with Paul Heyman kind of in between them on the outside of the ring, like on the apron, smiling. Punk makes it very clear this isn't about him helping Roman, it's about him helping Paul. This has got nothing to help with him. Paul winks at Jimmy Uso and then stared back at Roman afterwards as well.
What are your
What are your
thoughts
thoughts
on
on
that?
everything, man? Oh man, both
Damn.
of us.
Okay,
Both of
okay.
us. Oh,
So
you
I
go
agree.
first.
I thought this was a wrestling show, not a kill
This is a
your opponent
mafia
show.
show at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I wasn't thinking that. Um, but I saw this rumor circulating, and I was going to ask you about it, but I didn't think it was going to happen until next Friday, or even at Survivor Series. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. What was it? What was it?
the rumor was CM Punk of him
Yeah.
being it because Paul had asked him for a favor,
Mm,
but
I
instead of
do.
the
I
the
had
favor
seen like
wasn't take me with you; it was join me when I need you kind of deal.
I think the only thing that I had seen about Punk was like a random YouTube thumbnail, and I looked at it and I was like, no, no
I
shot.
seen it on
That's
Facebook,
no
Instagram,
shot.
and Twitter. I was kind of buying it for a minute. I'd seen it on 3 different platforms. I was like, okay, I'm kind of buying this now.
No, I was starting to fully buy into Seth, even though I wasn't happy about it. I was
Yeah.
starting to fully buy into Seth. And so I was like, ah,
Um,
man, so how are we going to spin this to be good? And now it's like, oh my God, what?
did you also notice Paul was wearing a very similar suit to Solo?
He
He had the
was
red shirt, he
very,
had the black jacket, and he had the red pocket square.
he was wearing a very, very similar thing to Solo. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck?
But I've noticed the theme of this entire feud has been red. So you can tell this is definitely, you can really tell this is a blood feud. Like, shit.
Yeah, bro, like for sure. Like I think War Games is gonna be bloody as shit. By the way, the
I
men's I think is
Then that
gonna be
has to be the main event.
bloody.
Women's
Oh
opens up the
yeah,
show.
especially with Punk being in it after what he went through in Hell in a Cell. You know he's not afraid to bleed.
Yeah, he's. I don't know why the fuck he's putting himself in another cage
I
match.
know, why is he putting himself back in another cage after coming back from a fucking tricep injury? Like,
And being in Hell in a Cell, like, brother, what the fuck is
brother,
wrong with
like,
you?
chill the fuck out. You can indeed have normal matches and we will still like you. I hope you know this.
Brother was wild and
Oh my goodness. No, bro, I will say, like, when it comes to Seth and Punk, I am definitely happier with Punk because, like, it mixes up, like, the uneasiness. You know what I'm feeling like of the Bloodlines relationship? I
Yeah.
already, like, prefer the idea of, like, Seth and Roman, like, being forever enemies. Like, I've talked about this a million times. Like, no matter what, I want them, like, at each other's throat. So, it's like, essentially, the idea is, like, Seth is, like, obsessed with the fact that, like, his two enemies are fucking teaming up. So, it's like he turns into this whole Drew McIntyre type character, like, if you want to call it like somewhat draw similarities as to like what Kevin Owens is doing right now, I feel like you could because it's like he's the heel, but maybe he's a little bit justified in it, in the fact that like you can see that these are the two people that he hates the most, and like maybe for justifiable reasons depending on where you stand, you know?
Yeah, honestly, I think I don't think you run this as a whole Drew McIntyre CM Punk Rollins feud because I mean Rollins and Drew have business hate, which they don't. They really, they cool. They're cool behind the scenes. But when it comes to Punk and McIntyre, obviously, and Punk and Rollins, they all hate each other. I don't like the idea that you kind of push it with that, but like you keep it Rollins being he gets his match against Punk, he gets his match against Roman, and that's where kind of the hate is. I wouldn't say squash, but it kind of just dies out a little bit because they got his two biggest enemies got their beatings and shit like that. Because
Right.
honestly, I don't know if I could ever see a triple threat between Punk, Rollins, and Roman. I don't know where
Wow.
you pull Roman into this.
I don't know
Like I
where
don't know
that
how you could pull
happens at.
Roman because there's hate in that triangle of Drew, Rollins, and Punk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at with it.
You're pretty insane. Even if you wanted to flip it on the other side of the coin, where like Seth is like, I hate you so much, like I was never going to join War Games, and then you stepped up to join War Games. What if you look at the other side of the coin? Like, what if Seth was on the verge of joining War Games, like
That's
after
what I was
Monday?
thinking before Friday.
And so now Seth is sitting here like, well, I still hate Punk and Roman, but now I was willing to put the beef aside with Roman, only for Punk to step up and essentially, quote unquote, take his spot in War Games. And like, now he can be pissed about that with like Punk, and he could storm out on Monday Night Raw ranting about that and shit.
That's true. I like that idea as well.
But either way, like the fact Punk is in, like even like the face off, like you just mentioned, like there's hate between Roman and Punk right now. Like there's
Oh
always
yeah.
like Roman bashed Punk in interviews like before, like during his title reign, like before Punk joined the company.
Oh
I'm pretty
really?
sure it was during that title reign. But yeah, he bashed Punk in several interviews before Punk rejoined the company. And so
I
yeah,
didn't
there's
know that.
definitely at least some kind of animosity between the two of them.
Hmm.
And so maybe it's all healed now. Maybe business is business. We saw like Punk is officially like, he's part of it now. So there's clearly like been some fences mended.
Yeah.
I mean, hell froze over when it happened.
Yeah.
But
For real,
like,
that shit was fucking crazy. I
yeah,
wish we
no
would have went to
shit.
Chicago, dude.
Yeah, no shit. I wish we were in Chicago. But like, you can even just the turmoil that Punk being thrown in this match causes
Hmm.
is I'm all for it. Like I went ballistic when Cult of Personality started playing because I was dead convinced that he was that burn. Because I even went like he says like the fifth, like he essentially starts announcing the fifth man, and I go, "Oh, get ready for burn it down," and it's not, and I'm like, "Oh,
I could have bought the idea of Brock Lesnar, honestly,
bro, oh,
because have you been paying attention to Adam
that
Pearce's
would have
social
been
medias?
insane, dog."
Have you been paying attention to Adam Pearce's social medias at all?
Not at all.
He's been posting these cryptic ass fucking images, and one of them is Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
Oh my god,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
beast, the
Like,
beast
just go check out his
within it.
Instagram and let me know what you think. But it's weird as fuck. Like, it gives you a bunch of storyline ideas, to be honest.
Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Um.
So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I just opened Instagram to see CM Punk post a fuck. Wow. I love CM Punk's Instagram,
Is it
actually. That's all I kind of need to see. It's him photoshopped with the younger bloodline in it. You already, I'm pretty sure I've seen
and
him.
young Paul Heyman?
Young Paul Heyman, young Sammy, and everyone. All right. I think that's it.
This is
Got
insane.
anything
Like,
else? Oh, yeah, we do have one more thing we want to get into.
yes. So, my question for you: why tape Raw but not tape SmackDown? I'm referring to Raw's November 18th, 2024 episode. The following SmackDown was live, which is the week before Thanksgiving. So why pre-tape that match?
My whole idea is like I'm pretty sure like some reports like broke that say it's because like they want to give stars off for Thanksgiving, but I do understand like why is it like why aren't both shows taped on the week of Thanksgiving if
Because
that's what you want to do? You
this
know what I mean?
coming Raw is live.
Yeah.
I just want to point
So
that out.
my
This shit's live. Like, what the
my
fuck?
whole idea is that like WWE constantly wants to have at least one live show a week going.
Yeah.
Is that so that they can like I mean even the taped shows like I'm sure like I'm not a business guy. I don't know this shit. I'm talking out my ass right now. But
Yeah.
I would assume that like the live shows that they can do more with, they like that's more like popular of a
Hmm.
thing. So they want to have at least one of those going per week. And so the fact that last week's episode of Raw was taped gives the Raw superstars that week to celebrate their Thanksgiving. And then this week, which is the actual week of Thanksgiving, gives the SmackDown stars their week to celebrate Thanksgiving while Raw still has their live shit.
Okay, I got that. I understand that now.
That's my idea behind it. I don't know if it's legit or not. No, I don't know like the benefit of having like
Because it is
one
the
live
holiday
show
season,
constantly
to be
having
honest.
per week. Like I don't know like why that's so important to have. Like why
Yeah.
can't you do two taped shows?
Right. Which I mean, there's the upcoming ones right now. November 29th SmackDown was taped Friday, this past Friday.
Hmm.
December 20th SmackDown is taped on December 13th, and the December 23rd episode of Raw will be taped on December 16th.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's where I'm kind of confused. Which I definitely agree on that, but you would do that weekly, you would think, right?
Yeah, I think you would.
So I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like interesting to think about because it's like at the same time it's completely new. Like this is a
Hmm.
Triple H thing now. Vince McMahon used to not give stars any holidays off. Like they had to work through Christmas, they had to work through Thanksgiving, had to work through New Year's, had to work through Fourth of July, had to work through everything. And
Yeah.
so the fact that Triple H is now trying to, if the structure thing that I laid out is anything close to accurate, the fact that he's trying to give stars time to celebrate these holidays with their families is just like it's commonplace for us, but like the fact that like now like it's kind of stupid to even say that it's not been allowed for wrestlers in the past, but it hasn't because of
Yeah,
Vince.
it was seen as a taboo.
Yeah, so the fact that like now Triple H is seemingly like regular I'm not going to try it. But
Regularized.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, trying that and it's just a lot better now.
Yeah.
At least I feel like it.
No, I feel you. Honestly, I really do. Okay.
But I mean on that that's all I've really got for it.
That's all. Yeah, that's all I got for the show as well.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another episode of the AR Wrestling Podcast. We will catch y'all next week. We've got Survivor Series review show coming up. We've also got next week's review for Raw and SmackDown. We've got preview. I meant to say preview for Survivor Series, not review, but review for Survivor Series is coming up. Couple weeks. Be on the lookout for all of this coming up on the channels. Look at the socials. AR Wrestling underscore is the X. Instagram is AR underscore Wrestling underscore. Go to Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio. AR Wrestling Podcast into the search engine. Go to YouTube. Type in AR Wrestling 1020. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you.
Thank you.